word time is the most common word in the English language, and it's no wonder that there are so many idioms related to time. Keeping time is an idiom that means measuring time. The history of keeping time dates back to ancient Egypt. They used tall standing beams called obelisks to measure the time it took the sun to move across the sky. Watching the moving shadow of an obelisk was used by cultures all over the world to tell time. Later, people used burning incense or candles, sand in an hourglass, and even water to keep time. In 1685, a man named Christian Huygens invented the world's first pendulum clock that used a swinging weight to measure time. Until the early 1900s, pendulum clocks were the most accurate time technology used all over the world. While using pendulums to measure time was accurate, before the late 1800s, there were no time zones or an accepted system for converting times around the world. Many towns set their own time according to the time when the sun was at the highest point in the sky. When it was noon in Washington, D.C., it was 12:12 in New York City. Other times set their time according to sunrise or sunset. In the 1800s, there were 300 different times in different towns across the United States. This all changed as the power of railroad companies grew in the U.S. These railroad companies needed a simple way to keep track of arrivals and departures of their trains, so they created 4 time zones in the U.S. Many people were not happy about a company coming in and changing the way they kept time. At first, many towns tried to rebel against the new railroad time, and many places kept 2 clocks on the wall, one showing the local time and another showing railroad time. Eventually, the railroads and other business interests won in the U.S., as well as in other countries, and standard time zones were set around the world. While time zones are now clearly set, people's relationship with time is very different across cultures. If you have the time, leave us a comment and tell us how important timekeeping is in your culture.